Hello, everyone. Welcome to BayernNow, the ultimate Bayern Munich fan channel. This show is about Lewandowski, the Polish striker at Barcelona. One of the worst strikers in the world, if you ask me. I mean, Timo Werner is probably better. Because he plays in the Premier League, the pace and power of the Premier League. So obviously, Lewandowski's just Lewandowski. My bad. He is trash, and he was saying some things about Bayern, and they got on my nerves. Ungrateful brat, I'll tell you that much. This Robert guy, I don't even know who he is. Who does he think he is? Who does he think he is? Seriously, though, Lewandowski, the Bayern player, ex-Bayern player, who's now at Barcelona. You know what's weird? These Barca fans with their cognitive gymnastics, that's what I call it. Last year, or I suppose the year before that, it was Messi, Ankara Messi, Ballon d'Or, Ankara Messi, Lewandowski, Farmers League. And now it's completely switched. Now they're sucking his pee-pee, bro. And it's a small pee-pee because Lewandowski doesn't have big pee-pee. And that's what's going on now. So what did Robert Lewandowski do that's pissing me off? Well, he accused Bayern of making up lies that he was scared of competition that could have come from Haaland. So he's saying Bayern Munich's board inserted stories into the media to make his departure more about Haaland than anything else. Wow. So, and he said, no, this was nothing to do with Erling. I'm the guy who, even if something's not good for me, truth is more important. I don't want to speak about what happened exactly, but if the questions is if the decision to move was because of him, no, I didn't see the problem if he joined Bayern Munich. Well, that's a completely BS thing there. That's stupid because Haaland would come in to replace you. That means Bayern are in a lesser position to give you, or I guess they're in a more free position to let you go, and therefore you would have to accept less money because Haaland's coming in. So the best thing to do is to make your way to Barcelona. Bayern Munich were linked to Haaland. I of course knew we were never getting him because that would have been a lot of money. Well, actually, in hindsight, we could have probably afforded Haaland a little bit. I think it was the profile of Erling Haaland. He was not the Lewandowski replacement. Haaland has a lot of goals in him, but he just doesn't give me the technical aspects of football that I want to watch. So you saw that versus Liverpool. Haaland barely touches the ball. He runs in behind and misses some chances. Man, that miss was crazy. So Bayern were looking at Haaland just like we always looked at every player. Bayern are linked to Neymar, Mbappe. We're linked to every player. I don't think the Haaland links were that deep, man. Just because Haaland played in the Bundesliga and we have a history of going for Dortmund players doesn't mean we look at every Dortmund player that's good. We were not looking at Haaland as much as people think. I honestly think that's the truth. So Lewandowski is kind of speaking crap here because if Haaland did join Bayern, there would have been a problem because here you have a world-class striker that now has a replacement for him who also happens to be one of the best strikers or one of the elite footballing strikers in the world. Of course he's going to feel threatened. But Levy won't say that because it makes him look good. But I think it's a bit disrespectful to say the club is lying, especially if it's a club you have a good relationship with. Bayern Munich initially didn't want to let Levy go. And then the club was like, all right, look, we're getting Mane, we're getting these players. It is a good time to move on from you, but we want money. They made Barcelona pay the money. So Bayern ultimately, I think, got the best package out of this. We signed a bunch of good players, and we also got rid of a 34-year-old who's now missing easy chances for Barca. If anything, I think he signed a 3-year contract at Barcelona. I might be wrong. It might be 4 years. But boy, that's a long time for it. He's going to be 38. Oh, yeah. He's going to be 38 by the time he leaves Barca. And it's not like he's getting younger. Yeah, Levy is a professional. He's going to train his heart out to stay on top of the game. but eventually his body's going to catch up with him. You're starting to see some of our older players just decline a little bit. Thomas Müller, as much as I don't think he had a horrible game yesterday. It wasn't Müller. Like, you could feel there was something off, even though he's still very good, very sharp where it needs to be. I feel like he's just, a little bit. Manuel Neuer, the Haustenberg chance. I feel like old Neuer jumps the crap out of this world just to try to stop that. The ball it took 5 seconds for that ball to leave from Haustenberg's head to the goal. And Neuer was just kind of watching it. Old Neuer, man, get that out. Or he just goes and straight up punches Haustenberg in the face. So age does get to these players, right? Your reactions just get slightly slower. And even if it's just slightly, it's going to make a key difference. So whether Levy leaving Bayern is bad, I don't know. We scored 5 goals yesterday without him. And to be fair, Leipzig in that first half weren't Leipzig in the second half. I feel like we played 2 different teams. RB Leipzig were all over us, man. Even when they went 4-2 down or 4-1 down, we were up 4, they almost came back. I was literally like, bro, they're going to score an equalizer. They're going to score an equalizer. They were crossing balls, and it was just across the face of goal. If we didn't bring De Ligt on to bring some composure to our back line, I can literally see a scenario where we would have lost that. I can see it. De Ligt brought the headings, the wins, the aerial duels. He brought the power, the composure at the back. And although we conceded, bro, I feel like we would have conceded 2 more goals in that game if De Ligt didn't come on. And Sané coming in and having that pace, the composure. I feel like a bad person, but I was fully expecting Sané to miss that, man. I'm a terrible person. So do we miss Lewandowski? Yes, we do. We're going to miss him for a few more games because the team dynamic will shift. But this is FC Bayern. We don't stay missing one player. We move on. We're going to see what these players are made of. We're going to see Gnabry score some goals. The goals we were scoring yesterday weren't some individual brilliance. It was Mane scoring tap-ins and Gnabry scoring another tap-in of his own. So automatically, those are goals Levy would have scored. So, yeah, look, Bayern Munich is at a level Barcelona's board can't be at. We plan 10 years ahead. I promise you, we have a replacement for Kimmich if he were to just die in a car accident. I promise you that. I promise you that. What in the world is this, man? There's a De Ligt video that has 850,000 views of him getting cooked by... I don't understand, man. Football is just weird. And they're not going to show you the good performance that De Ligt put in. They're going to show you where Kimmich gets cooked twice, and then eventually it's a goal against us. If Kimmich didn't get cooked, then man. But Leroy's goal, man, really secured us that win. This season needs to be much better. I read some of the comments yesterday, and I don't know. Guys, I read some of your comments, and I understand your frustration. No, I do. I seriously understand where you're coming from. Some of you weren't impressed with that game. I understand it. And I think we should exercise slightly more patience. Give Nagelsman a month. I'm not kidding. Give him till September 1st. And then start having opinions on how we're playing. Because really, that was our first game. And for our first game, the first half was pure dominance from us. So think about that. I just want you to keep an open mind. Maybe we perform better. But yeah, I get where you're coming from. Some of you were like, man, I don't trust the way we're playing. I don't like the formation. I don't like this. I don't like that. Let's give it a month. The players are professionals. They're going to have enough time to get into the system. Musiala played well yesterday. That's a positive, right? So let's see if Nagelsmann starts him next game because he deserves it. Now, one of my questions from yesterday was, why would he take off Musiala when he was one of our best players? And someone said, He was injured in preseason. That's BS because Musiala played against City. Bro, he didn't have a muscle injury. He was just having fitness issues and yeah, he could have hurt a muscle, and they were just being patient and careful. But it's not like he got hurt in that game. I think it was because he saw that Musiala was young. He had a good performance, so taking him off isn't the worst thing. But now I want to see Musiala start the next game because this kid has the potential to be a superstar. Jamal Musiala is a player that's out of this world. I see his ability being on the level of one of the best players in the world. His dribbling capability is crazy. You know, one of those players that just never seems to get the ball taken off of them? Like the ball just bounces off and ricochets and just comes back to their feet. That's Jamal Musiala. Sometimes he'll just do something crazy, and his tight space control is good. But what I love about him is his mentality. He's clearly trying to make things happen. He's that type of player that takes the ball and tries. Germany versus England. Wait, was it Germany versus England? I remember in the Euros, one of the last games Germany had, Musiala came on, and I think they were losing, and he turned it into a draw by himself, him and Goretzka. It was like he tried and actually got, I think it was like a pre-assist, but it was him that did it. So he's one of those players, man. He's a superstar. He got that gene in him. What Musiala needs to improve is his moment where he picks to dribble. Sometimes it's not every touch you have to dribble. We don't want him getting fouled constantly and then having to get injured. That's something Ian Robin struggled with, and he's one of my favorite players of all time. And he was getting fouled a lot, got injured a lot. Actually, wasn't he getting fouled that much? He was just built with glass, man. So, but Musiala, we need him to just be stronger. So he needs to pick the moment where he dribbles so he doesn't get fouled every time he touches the ball, because that's what it seemed like yesterday. Every time my man first touch, fouled, because he's always dribbling you. He's running circles around Leipzig. So Jamal Musiala needs to start the next game. And these are things that Nagelsman needs to do in the next month. And if he doesn't do those things and we don't perform at a higher level than we did against Leipzig in that second half, then boy, people are going to be coming for his head. And I'm going to be starting to question Nagelsman a little bit. But I trust him. I think he can. Look, if Thomas Müller is not performing, play Musiala. Sané came on, did okay, right? That one pass to Kingsley Coman was something only Leroy can do that. Sané won't make a simple pass that's in front of him, but a pass that cuts the defense open, he can do that. It was such a weird thing to have. And all Kingsley needed to do was square it, or I think the player he passed it to needed to square. I think it was, I don't know. And then it would have been a goal. So Sané would have been involved heavily. And then he scored that ice-cold goal. The composure was crazy from him. Once again, Leroy Sané, we need to see Sané improve, man. And I think Nagelsmann can do it. So 5-3 was a game. I mean, it could have been Leipzig, 4-4 and then penalties or something. Or it could have been, 5-4. That game was crazy. It was the most Leipzig versus Bayern game I have ever seen. So Bayern was unprofessional towards Lewandowski and was told, and so was he told. Oh, I don't know what you're trying to say there. Bayern wasn't unprofessional to Lewandowski. Well, we were initially, because he was like, I want to leave. And the club was like, Rabat knew what he signed. He's going to stay. I know Bayern didn't really care if Lewandowski I just read something that Mane's friend, that's 29, has joined Bayern Munich's reserve team. Signed a 2-year contract. Man, what the hell's going on, bro? We just go sign the entire country of Senegal? That's freaking weird. So, actually, I want to show you this. Before I talk about this Lewandowski comment, I'm going to explain something yesterday that, people think it was De Ligt's fault that, he got cooked by Andre Silva. Well, first of all, look where Kimmich and Sabitzer are. These are your DMs. Look where Kimmich is. That's Konrad Leimer. Sabitzer and Kimmich should win a duel here. Guess what Leimer does? He cooks Kimmich and Sabitzer. Lucas Hernandez is in a decent position to make a run across. Actually, I feel like he should have been deeper because that's what where De Ligt was. Lucas should have been here, right? Andre Silva is right here. Lucas goes after Leimer, and the pass is just too good. That's not awareness. But De Ligt was in a good position, right? So now he has to come across and get to Andre Silva. I don't know what people were expecting. De Ligt did not get cooked in that way. He tried the best he could have possibly tried to keep this fair. That's how, look, you got to understand, football is a lot more, especially defending, is a lot more than just, oh, let me tackle. Nah, Matthijs de Ligt just realized Kimmich and Sabitzer got cooked. Lucas Hernandez is out of position because look where Lucas is. He's tracking Andre Silva. I guess that's maybe part of the pressing. He's expecting Kimmich to win this duel. Konrad Leimer wins it against Sabitzer and Kimmich. And it was twice. So Kimmich came in, lost the duel. Came back, lost the duel. And then Lucas is like, crap, now I got to cover this guy. Because if I don't, then he just runs down the line. And Lucas just gets cooked with a pass in front of him. And then there's Andre Silva. And then De Ligt is forced. This is what I'm talking about. Our defensive breakdowns happen in transition from the midfield. The physicality was lacking from both Kimmich and Sabitzer. Konrad Leimer just had the pace and the power through both of them. So now De Ligt has to come in and across here. Silva eventually carries him, and De Ligt does very well. That's good positioning. He keeps Silva in front of him, and Silva just cuts it inside, doesn't cook De Ligt, right? And just passes it to, I don't know, was that Dani Olmo? Out wide to, maybe that was Szoboszlai, and then he passed it to Olmo later. But look where Sabitzer's at. Behind. Like just, and look where Noose is at. Noose's positioning isn't the problem here. But I almost feel like, because we know Nkunku's offside, why is he looking at Silva, right? You have two players around Silva. If he tried to get back to De Ligt's side here, De Ligt will outpace him, right? I think Noose needs to start checking Szoboszlai here because look at the space he's in. And if you look at this situation, Nkunku kind of this was a smart run from Nkunku because he drags Noose with him, and it creates space for Szoboszlai. And eventually, it's just a simple pass. And then Dani Olmo's here. Look where De Ligt is. De Ligt, again, follows where he thinks it's going to go. Look at this situation. Dani Olmo could have crossed it back post, and it's just a header from Andre Silva because Lucas Hernandez didn't end up picking him up. De Ligt made the right decision by following this run because he knew what was happening, and it could have been a block. But Dani Olmo just had a great finish. But look, man, why isn't Sabitzer in here? Like, actually, that's a better question. Sabitzer should be right here, or Lucas should be right here, because Matthijs de Ligt had to go across here because Lucas was out of position. This is what I'm talking about. Breakdowns in transition. We defend like fools. Why are people laughing at De Ligt, bro? That wasn't his fault. You saw Kimmich get cooked, Sabitzer get cooked, Kimmich gets cooked again. Lucas is out of position. Matthijs de Ligt has to defend a 1v1. And he's not going to lunge in because that's a freaking red card. Why would you? The game's not over. You could, what? You want to have 10 men and then there's 6 minutes of added time? That could be crazy. So De Ligt's making the right decision. Master Noose is just, man. So, I just think that game was crazy. That game was ridiculous. They really gave Mane's best friend a 2-year contract. This is so weird, man. Is he good? For our reserve team, by the way. Not for the main team. So weird. Okay. Let's talk about Levy. This Barca fan said Bayern disrespected Lewandowski. Initially, I thought so too. But Bayern Munich eventually changed their stance from we're not going to let Levy leave to we're going to let Levy leave for 50 million. Now people are saying, why 50 million? Well, it's Robert Lewandowski, man. He's worth 50 million if the club he plays for says he's worth 50 million. If Barca wanted to wait, they could have waited an extra year and gotten a better price for or gotten him for free, actually. Bayern were willing. See, the person that's more willing to walk away from a negotiation has the upper hand. Bayern were willing to walk away from Barca's deal with Lewandowski and let him stay here for a year. I think this club could have been willing to put Levy on in the stands as long as he had the contract. But we didn't want to do that in the end because we were signing players, and I think it just became apparent that Levy really wanted to leave and he was going to try to force his way out. But yeah, I would say it was that mentality in the beginning was more about the club showing their strength and resolve in these situations rather than trying to disrespect Lewandowski. Just so happens that eventually the club decided to change their stance, had the money. Barca were offering 20 million, and that Bayern were like, no, 50 million or nothing. And that's what we got in the end. 45 million euros plus 5 million in easily achievable add-ons. I don't know if they're easily achievable if Levy's missing the chances he is, man. God dang. So I would say that Bayern got the best deal. Like, don't kid yourselves. I think Levy's up there for most expensive 32-plus-year-olds in world football. That's crazy. So we did show some signs of disrespect, but it wasn't personal. I'm not salty. Levy left, by the way. I think it was the right timing because I just envision a scenario where we did the Ribéry Robin thing, where he just stays here forever. I would have hated that more than anything. Messi's cooking. I gotta watch Messi cook, dude. We need a coach who can get the basics right. And, I'll reiterate this. Let's relax with the, Nagelsman slander already. First game of this season. And I'm not saying don't slander him. I'm saying let's give him a month, and then you can start slandering him. That's just my opinion, but it's football. You're allowed to have your opinion. Bayern board has a SAF vision with Nagelsmann. He won't get sacked. Just look at the amount of money and backing he has got. No. That's not what it is. They want to lead a new era for years to come. That's true. That's because the board believe in Nagelsmann. But the truth is, they will simply sack him to protect their investment. Because if you're spending that much money to get a coach, I think he's the most expensive coach in world history. 30 million we paid for his release clause. Dude, I'm telling you, man. Donald Trump. Did I just say Donald Trump? Julian Nagelsmann. What the hell? Yo, what just happened? Bro, one of those things where I just substituted Nagelsmann for Donald Trump. Bro, what? That just happened. Oh, I was like, but Julian Nagelsmann could easily fail at Bayern, and the club will want to protect their investment because that board spent money. They're backing him because they believe in him. But if he doesn't, prove their belief in him, they'll sack him more, actually faster, because they're like, yo, we have a team that should be winning the Champions League. And you're getting third in the group stage with one match day to go. Or I don't think that's going to happen. Oh, when's the Champions League group stage draw, boys? That was funny, man. It just came out. It was like Donald Trump. I was like, what the hell? Why did I just switch their names in my head? Julian Nagelsmann. We paid Leipzig for his release clause. I won't stop the stream now. We have 5 minutes left to go. All right. Donald Duck. Oh, Donald Duck. That's funny. It was probably your name. I read it and it just read Trump in my head. Oh, man. It's an interesting name, man. Actually, a lot of you have some interesting names. We have Wanye Kest. That's really weird. It's Kanye, but his first initials are switched. Alex Wood. We have Garrow. Actually, these aren't weird names. So, yeah, we got weird names in the chat, man. We got weird names in the chat. By the way, the watch along yesterday was fun. It was actually really entertaining. I had a lot of good reviews. But, yeah, reading those comments about, oh, we're not playing well, I hate the formation, first game of the season. We have to relax a little bit, boys. We have to just we have to think about the long term. I do believe in my heart we sack Nagelsman if he doesn't perform to certain levels 12 games in. I'm not. There's no doubt in my mind. This club is so invested in this manager that he can mess up and they will sack him. Trust me. Why is Bayern trying to sign all of Leipzig? Well, I mean, let's put it in the context. People say we sign players from other, Bundesliga teams all the time. That's totally false. We don't sign the most of our players from Bundesliga teams because Dortmund signed more players than us and Leipzig signed more players than us. What they mean to say is we signed good players. By the way, Kimmich didn't come from a Bundesliga. Well, was it a Bundesliga 2 team? Stuttgart at the time? I'm lost for some reason. When did we sign Kimmich? 2015, right? Wasn't he in the second division? Well, he wasn't even one of the better players, right? Like he was a freaking prospect. Okay, so that's one of our better players now. But he wasn't signed as a Bundesliga star. Lewandowski, yes, but he's gone now. We don't have a single ex-BVB player in our team. The two Leipzig players we have, Upamecano and Sabitzer. I like Upamecano. He's good. But Sabitzer is just, if anything, we relieved Leipzig of their, burden because Nkunku just started balling out. So, really, we gave a platform for Nkunku to express himself. So the only other thing would be the manager. And this season, we didn't sign any Bundesliga players apart from youngsters. We did go, however, to Juventus and to Liverpool and to Ajax. And we signed players from there. And of course, Matisse Tel from Rennes. What are we talking about with we're signing Leipzig players? If we sign Leimer, that's one player. 3 players in 2 seasons. Okay, I get your point, but it's not that deep, dude. It's really not that deep. Sabitzer's been playing decent. Bro, come on, man. Guys, decent doesn't cut it at Bayern. Kimmich from Leipzig. Oh, crap. That was when they were in the second division, right? Wait, when did Leipzig get promoted? 2017? So they were promoted to the third Liga in 2014. We signed Kimmich in the second division. That's all I know. Ismail Benissar. Bayern fans would never accept Ali after 1990. Wait, who? What? Let me whip you for a second. What are you talking about, boy? Talking about Ali? Get out of here. We're not signing Ali. Ugh. Wally. Or, ugh. Bro, come on, dude. Come on. What are you talking about? That'd be the worst thing to... I would puke. Even if Leipzig buy the best players, Bayern will win the Bundesliga. Well, if they bought the best players, I actually think, based on our performance yesterday against them in the second half, bro, Leipzig have it, man. Look how they played in that second half. They fought like they wanted to win that. I think Tedesco obviously got it wrong with his team selection. I knew it Forsberg is a trash baller. He did not help him with holding up the ball. Andre Silva comes on and cooks our defenders. He's out here trying shots with his left foot. He's threatening. I don't see Forsberg as a threat. I think our defenders loved playing against him. His first touch is awful. His dribbling is weird and it's awkward. He doesn't have great balance or agility. So we enjoyed playing against Forsberg. As soon as Andre Silva comes on, he's different. He was pushing. His pace is different. His technical, just the way he holds the ball up is. Oh, I saw this clip. Dani Olmo was a freaking genius. So basically, right? Let me show you. I think it's better if I show you the clip. This was so freaking weird. I didn't even see this in the game when it happened. Did anyone actually see this? So, yeah, look, I'll put some context in here. So, we're playing Leipzig. The ball's about to go out for what appears to be like, okay, no. We'll do this. This angle's better. So, okay. All right. I don't know what happened here, but the ball's still in play. But Dani Olmo does this. He keeps the ball on the line. Linesman's like, yeah, that ball's still in. And then Lucas Hernandez touches it, and it's a freaking free kick. And then Leipzig take the free kick. Lucas is arguing because he's like, what the hell is this? Right? That's a pretty genius idea. Oh, man, that was crazy. That had like 4 million views on Twitter. I was like, what is this? I didn't realize that's what he did. At the time in the game, I was confused. If you watch along, I was like, why did we just give him the ball? That's weird. It was supposed to be our throw, and I was like, referee, what are you doing? No one was fouled. And then that's what happened. That's really wow. Olmo's a freaking genius, bro. He's a genius. Neymar just freaking scored a free kick. Neymar Junior. David Raum signed for Leipzig. That's freaking crazy. Dude, I know why. So let me go to who scored, and I'll compare something really, really quick. Who scored? So look, sometimes football knowledge is really important, right? Raum has key strengths in a lot of areas. One of the things that Angelino play style says plays the ball off the ground often. One of his play styles is he likes to cross. That's not a bad thing. The problem is, this is a big problem, is that he loses the ball way too much. All appearances. So if you watch Leipzig play, Angelino's always trying something spectacular. He's always trying the ball over the top. He's always doing something. And it's weird why Tedesco's doing this, but the way he wants to play is possession-based football, intricate passes in between the lines. That's what he wants to do. Angelino just doesn't fit that. That's why Pep didn't keep him at City. Because, boy, I'm telling you, he is so full of crap sometimes. He just plays the ball off the ground. But Raum, on the other hand, he does a lot better picking his moments, and he's a better left back than Angelino, so better defensively. He's faster than Angelino. But I'm confused why they're trying to get rid of Angelino. That's what doesn't make sense to me. Maybe they had a breakdown with Tedesco. Musiala is 18 years old. How crazy is that? He's 18. This dude is still 18. Well, no, he turned 19? Crap. No! Bro, he was just 17 yesterday. Man, Germany have some ballers on their hand. Florian Wirtz in the central area. Musiala right next to him. Oof, Hansi Flick is blessed with options. When's Wirtz coming back? I wonder if he plays the same. He could be one of those players that did well, showed how talented he was, and then just kind of dies down. Florian Wirtz is coming back in a month and a half. So September 15th. Can't wait to see it, dude. It's sad that he tore his ACL. That's a freaking career-ending injury. But the mentality there from him is going to be really, really crucial if he comes back and does something great. So, guys, I always wondered why doesn't the Bundesliga have the 5-year plus contracts? So some Barca players get 8-year contracts and things of that nature. Why doesn't that happen with the Bundesliga or the Premier League? La Liga's they're freaking weird, man. They give these players 9-year contracts. Why can't we do that? Well, the problem with that lineup is Musiala. I don't know about Eddie. Oh, no, he's good. He's good. The thing is, there's no striker. Germany's closest thing to a number 9 is Timo Werner, and he's terrible. Can't hold the ball up for crap. And I always knew this about Werner. I told the Chelsea fans this. They didn't listen to me. They need to listen to me more. Werner's not it. They don't have a number 9. Someone like a Haaland or a Lewandowski. Germany just doesn't have that. And that's what's going to really cost them at the World Cup. Argentina, on the other hand, they have too many strikers to count. Julian Alvarez is Argentinian. Like, bro, they have Lautaro Martinez, a striker. Alvarez is literally an Aguero, what's the wording for this? He's a regen. He plays just like I think he's a better technical footballer. I think Argentina are settled. People don't know this, but Argentina could win that World Cup, and they could do it in style. They have a great defense. Lisandro Martinez, freaking baller. They have Christian Romero, baller. And then you have the experience of Otamendi, baller. They have some really good center backs. The full backs, 1/4, baller. Molina, decent. Tagliafico at left back. And if he's not enough, they just play a right footer at left back because that's what every team does now. Their midfield, the Paul, Atletico Madrid. If they need some passing, Paredes is on the bench. And then you look at their attack, which is their strong point. Messi, Di Maria. Flip me, man. Alvarez, Lisandro Martinez, Correa. Bro, that's what I'm talking about. And then they have a coach that plays good football. Scaloni does some things. People aren't talking about Argentina. Their team has more standout players than any other team. Messi, Di Maria, who are older, but boy, do they ball out. Di Maria, 34, is probably one of the best players in the world still. Juventus, he's gonna ball out with them. So, guys, I'm telling you, look out for Argentina, dude. They could do something crazy in the World Cup. They could do something ridiculous. Adeyemi is not a center forward. He's a forward, which means he can play all 3 positions, but he's not a striker. He's a move merchant. He's to occupy the lines and run in behind. He can operate in striker positions, but he won't operate as a striker. He's a wide player more than a striker. But he's a forward, man. He's an inside forward. He's a center forward. No, not center forward. He's just a forward. Not center forwards for me is Benzema or Lewandowski. That's a center forward. A player that almost exclusively remains in the center. Well, not exclusively. They can move around, but their position is very defined. They spend the majority of their time in one position. When you have a rotating front 3, you don't really have a striker. You just have a bunch of forwards moving into different positions. Adeyemi's a good player, though. He just doesn't do it for me if Germany wanted a striker. They have none. Germany need to start developing strikers. They have a lot of good midfielders, a lot of attacking midfielders. The defenders are getting better with Schlotterbeck. Rudiger's in there, decent. The fullbacks, the right back isn't really, a position they should, scream about. Maybe Hendricks can play it. Benjamin Hendricks looked good in that midfield for Leipzig. I think he's one of the reasons they started actually playing through us a little bit. Can Germany use him in midfield next to Kimmich? Because Goretzka just seems to get injured every 2 days. And you don't want Toni Kroos there for another World Cup. He should be retired by now, right? Come on, you don't want Toni Kroos. You could have Gundogan and Kimmich, but you need some power. And I think Hendricks could bring that. What else? Fullback, you have Rahm. So David Rahm. Dude, Germany have a good team, just not a striker. And that's going to cost you in games where you need someone to occupy the center backs. Because even if Lewandowski wouldn't ever score a goal, he was always getting, marked. So that took a player from the opposition's team and gave more license to Thomas Müller or Gnabry to run in behind. Against Chelsea, Chelsea's center backs were trying their hardest to mark Levy. And guess what they ended up doing? Freeing Gnabry. And that's why Gnabry scored a brace. Against Tottenham, the same thing. They were trying to keep Levy out of the game. He ended up scoring twice, but Gnabry stole the show because he was there everywhere, popping up about. So, yeah, man. Nagelsman equals Bummels, man. Come on, Richard, man. Look, Toni Kroos is always going to be that story. What if? Kind of like Marvel. What if this happened? What if Thanos was a good guy? Toni Kroos left Bayern, was it 20 million or something? Bro, he was worth way more than that. And the fans are always going to feel some sort of what could have been? This could have been something spectacular. He could have stayed here and became a real legend. Apparently, he wanted money. The board say it's their fault. We used to say it was Pep's fault, but it really wasn't. Kroos could have been something great. It just didn't happen, man. His passing is so good. I mean, that man, he's blessed with a freaking right foot to just switch the ball at will, and he's so accurate with the long balls. So yeah, Kroos is. We don't really hate him. We just look at him and go, you could have been something. And now he's a Real Madrid legend, I guess. Freaking 4 Champions League titles. I can't go wrong with that either. It was a great decision from his career now that we look at it. Gained a lot of freaking, only thing Kroos lacks is pace, and he makes up for it with his reading of the game. Kroos ain't coming to Bayern. Hell no. Oh, thank God he retired. I didn't know that. I thought Hansi was going to give him one last call-up for another World Cup. I'm not a coach, but I know 3 at the back is not working for the players. It is not working for the players. And I explained that a few times. It takes our defenders out of position. And because we're not, a defensive-minded team, some of our players are usually caught upfield. Look at where Kimmich and Sabitzer were for that last Leipzig goal, where almost smacked it in, and the lit got cooked a little bit. Look where the positioning from our midfielders were. They were literally attacking, but we're in a transition. You should be further back. Man, sometimes I wish we had some N'Golo Kante figure at the club. Sometimes I wish we just had a bulky CDM who couldn't play football, a Casemiro or something that would just break up play. That's what Casemiro is good at. You watch him, he's a right place at the right time because he's always sitting deep, almost a third center back. You sacrifice an attacker by playing like that, but it means he's going to be there and challenge for that ball. That's what Tchouameni's doing for Real Madrid now. That's what Camavinga would give you. Even though he's more of a box-to-box, he can still give you that's what Goretzka would have given us. Goretzka wins that duel versus Leimer. Kimmich and Sabitzer got cooked because they're small, no pace, lack of physicality. Goretzka's just going to punch you. He's going to kick you. He has pace, right? He's going to run with you until he gets the ball. And he's going to add himself to the back line. But, bro, it was just so bad watching how they would go from our midfield, go to our defense, and just score. It was so bad. We cannot be doing that this season. That's why we got the lit, the organization. But it looks like the lit isn't even the answer. Now we need a midfielder that has some level of just recognition. And Thiago gave us that. That's why we conceded, less goals. We didn't concede that much with Thiago and Flick. Remember, we would win like 4-1, 5-1. It wasn't 5-2, 5-3, 4-3. It wasn't that, right? Thiago gave us he would read the game and just recover, and he would know the positioning. I don't think Kimmich can do that with people think Kimmich's a CDM. He's not. He's a number 8, man. Let's be honest. His best position is, he's a number 8, that a deep lying playmaker. He's a good possession player, but man, he's just a liability in those transitions. He lacks pace. He reads the game okay, but sometimes the lack of pace does a lot of damage, especially against a team like Leipzig, where everyone's fast. Leimer's a fast Zucker, man. God dang, I didn't know that man was. He just cooked Kimmich and Sabitzer. That's why we need Ismail Benassar, man. He's literally Thiago Alcantara. Defensively, he's a CDM, but he's also a freaking attacker. He can switch his mind. For AC Milan, he's the deepest lying playmaker. Or we go for Fabian Ruiz, someone with power that also does the deep lying playmaking. If that made any sense? He was the man. Bonassar is the answer, says Wanye Kest. I agree. It is sad that Goretzka's injured all the time. Edson Alvarez is good, but is he tall? The height isn't the most important thing. Kante does the same thing, but he's short. All right. Well, thank you everyone so much for watching. It's been a good show. Talking about Lewandowski. We talked about some other Bayern topics. We're playing next Friday against Frankfurt. Obviously, I'm going to be live every day, hopefully. The thing is, in the transfer window, there's so much to talk about. In the actual season, you're just waiting for the next game because it's just like transfers are over. We want to see the team play. So it's going to be fun watching Bayern's next game. I think De Jong would do a lot of good for us. I think he gives a lot of the things Thiago gives. De Jong's really good defensively. This dude plays center back like a bowler. So if we ever consider De Jong on loan, that'd be a good one. But yeah, thank you everyone so much for watching. Mia, and peace.